Hey guys, it's Kat, and today I'm going to be showing you and explaining the house renovating / remodeling process. And let me tell you, it's been a process. I'm currently in the new living room, we'll call it that, and the lighting is a little and I've tried filming this multiple times, so I'm gonna hope we're just gonna get through this video and it'll turn out okay. A huge thing is that the plans of what was happening with everything changed so many times, like 1,000,005. So therefore, the people involved / affected by the situation barely knew what was going on, let alone anybody else. So you're getting a real inside scoop. It's been a very long and dragged out, time-consuming process with lots of complications and unexpected changes, which also led to it being even more dragged out, which wasted a lot of time and energy that didn't need to be wasted. If the plans wouldn't have changed, or we would have known that this plan was going to work out in the first place, there was a lot of time we could have saved and changed about how we were going about things. But whatever, everything happens for a reason and it's all working out for the best. It's just been a little rough on me because I'm very pregnant. So, you'll see that. I have some struggles. This process kind of started in March and it's now July, and it probably won't be completely settled down for another month or two. And so that's like half a year this has been going on for. And usually I feel like this stuff takes like a month or two, but like I said, it got super dragged out. There are more things that we will do in the future, and I'll touch on the future plans later. But we have priorities with things that needed to be done. So I'm gonna give you a little background knowledge on the situation to try to make it a little less confusing. I've mentioned a little bit about my living situation and explained a little bit of it in previous videos, but the actual full-on explanation and like how it works, all that is a different video. But basically, I have been living with my mom and grandparents in two separate houses, and up until recently on like separate sides of the state for the past like 4 years. And before that, I had just stayed with my grandparents a lot and they stayed with me a lot. So up until now, we've been traveling like 3 hours back and forth between the houses, having all of my belongings split up between the two houses. Then in April, my grandparents bought their new house, which is more of a ranch style, and they got it because as they get older, the steps are just not the most ideal, and the different care of the house is not the most ideal for them. And so I had my belongings spread out between 3 houses. Plus, to get out of the way, I kind of have been staying with Lee a lot, so that way I'm not making it more of a pain than it needs to be. So I've just had my stuff all sorts of spread out and been like living out of my suitcase because it just makes things a little bit easier. And honestly, the timing of how all of this is falling has made it really complicated, because had some of this happened in like January, February, when I wasn't really having anything going on, it would have been easier for me to help more, although I was also more sick then. It's just now I don't know, I was really tired then, but now it's like my body actually ends up hurting. It's pregnancy. This is something important to remember. My grandparents downsized at moving into this house. Hang on to that thought for later. This process has been so confusing and complicated. Like at one point I was gonna be trying to live here, and so we've been moving furniture back and forth and just all kinds of things that ended up getting gotten rid of or given away. So there was just a lot of unnecessary things that happened, like I said at the beginning, that time consuming and energy consuming, which again, not a lot of that to go around. Me trying to live here and like why I've been such a part of this process and how it all works, again, is a completely different story, along with why I'm going to be still living with my family and in 2 separate houses. Like both me and my baby will have rooms at the different houses. For a general idea of how much of a pain this has been, my mom got a new job, which is even more time consuming than her old one. And let me just say, her old one was super, super time consuming. Like, she really didn't have time before. Now, not only does she not have time, she doesn't have the energy. So the only free time she gets is weekends, which is kind of normal for someone that's working, but like she works a lot, like at least 50 hours a week, and then she works out, so, and she eats healthy and she takes really good care of her health, but she just doesn't have time to live. Like, she doesn't have time to relax or breathe, really. And then on weekends, this free time is taken up by adult things like having to maintain your car and your house and your lawn and whatever all that you gotta do and keep up with everything, let alone the fact that we're still unpacking, still moving in, still getting it organized, and still trying to renovate some more. My mom also downsized by buying this house. That's still in process, but she had been living far away, sold her house, or is in the process of, and is buying this one. And she's downsizing by doing so. So with all this downsizing, that means getting rid of stuff because there's not enough room. There really wasn't enough room for all my grandma's stuff in this house before, let alone downsizing. So I feel like we're constantly having to take loads of stuff to Goodwill and like the different places to either donate or whatever it is, or just different trash places. It has been a lot. My grandparents have lived in this house for 20 plus years, so it is the one place that has been consistently in my entire life. And so I'm just so thankful that this house is staying in the family, and I'm so excited that not only is it staying in the family, but I'm gonna get to raise my daughter in it. And I'll also add that it's such a relief for distance to finally not be a huge pain in the butt. We have faced this annoying distance struggle for a decade, and it's finally done. Obviously, a good portion of that was by choice, but I'm personally glad it's done with. And it's amazing that I'm going to be able to have my baby around my family, and her not have to go back and forth with me, because that was going to be a pain. It was either I was going to not get to see my mom very much, who is my best friend. That has been really rough throughout my pregnancy, to not have her at my reach, just due to schooling and my doctor's here and everything. So it's just good to have everyone in the same general area. The houses are 8 minutes from each other. So, but before I get too emotional about having my family together, I'm gonna actually get into the point of this video. So like I mentioned before, there has been a lot of changes that have made things a little more unnecessarily complicated, like hauling furniture and stuff back and forth that ended up getting gotten rid of anyways, or even if just hauling it back and forth is a pain, along with hours and hours of cleaning, which it's good to keep things clean, but there's quite a bit of unnecessary cleaning too, because trying to deep clean the carpets for hours just for them to get ripped out anyways because it didn't work out, which I'll talk about in a minute. Originally, we were just going to try to save the carpets that are in the bedrooms upstairs, and we tried to get them deep cleaned, and they just, not only were they faded, but they were just gross, and we could not get them clean. And we were going to paint the dark blue wall in my room because it just really closed the space off, and we wanted to open it up more. Whether we were moving or not, we were planning on painting that wall, so that wall has been planned to be painted for a long while now. So we ended up deep cleaning the entire house, so we had more of a fresh base to do anything with. Plus, when you're trying to sell a house, you obviously want it to be clean, and it hasn't been fully deep cleaned in 20 plus years because they're not going to move all their furniture in and out to clean. I mean, obviously they'll kind of push stuff around and vacuum underneath of it, but it also can drag dirt with it not being fully out. So we got that wall painted, and then found out that we had to rip out the carpets. So my grandparents hired somebody to rip out the carpets and put new flooring in. And we then found out that the carpets had so much buildup that it wouldn't matter how much you'd clean it. All you would do is kind of pull that buildup in the air and spread it. And so we were thankful that we ended up deciding to get it out, because it would have caused more issues in the long run, and we wouldn't have even known that that was what was causing the issues. I actually was the one to completely pick out the color for the flooring, and everyone just liked it. I think that it was a nice choice, obviously, because I picked it out, but yeah. real into interior designing, so my mom ended up wanting all the wallpaper out of the house, so there's still wallpaper left. I'll preface by saying that, but so we started in this room, and the wallpaper was like not too bad to take down. We kind of just had to like dampen it and then like pull off pieces. There's a lot of pieces that did get stuck that like kind of a pain to get off, and then we also had to scrub the adhesive stuff off, but it wasn't that bad, especially compared to the other rooms, which we'll get into. And there was like a built-in shelf over there that was like impossible to get out. It took hours to get the shelf out because like it's built in, and the nails, you couldn't like rip the nails out, so you had to like pull the boards out with these million little nails in them. And then there's also a chair rail that wasn't that bad to get out. We just had to fill in all the little holes and like sand stuff down and really scrub the walls down. And that was for all the rooms in general. Obviously, the ones that were already painted didn't need as much scrubbing. The ones that had wallpaper needed a lot more scrubbing because you have to get all that gunk off. So we then painted the room, and it was kind of a pain just because the paint that we had was not the best for the wall situation, which we found with the upstairs bedroom too. My bedroom was fine. We used a completely different paint for my room. And then the other living room that was the main living room before, this was a dining room before. The other one was a living room. This is now the main living room, and the other one is now going to be a game living room kind of, / second living room. And then after everything was done, they ended up going to rip out the carpet in here, thinking they were gonna have to like replace it with some sort of flooring, and then found out that there's beautiful wood underneath. And it's kind of funny because my grandma has been wanting to get rid of that carpet for a while, but someone said that they would have to like replace the flooring because I guess someone had like looked and there wasn't the wood underneath, which really didn't make sense because there was in the other room. I don't really understand it, but either way, they got all the wood looking nice. I think they like stained it or something. I don't know. I wasn't a part of that process because of the fumes. And that was just for all the rooms because the whole downstairs is wood and upstairs is wood, tile, and like that new flooring or whatever. So then my mom's room, the absolute worst. The wallpaper was just horrible. It was like regular wallpaper, and then not like the kind you can just peel off and like scrub down, and then the old wallpaper for trim. And there's just so many layers, and it took days of like multiple people working at once for hours trying to get this stuff down. We used so many different gadgets and stuff like steamers, and had to like soak the wall and really scrub at it and peel at it, and it really took a lot. And then it ended up taking off some of the top layer of drywall, so that was kind of a pain to paint over too. We scrubbed it down and sanded everything, got it to the best we could before we painted it. And then lastly, we did the game living room, second living room, whatever you want to call it. And that was pretty easy to paint because it had already been painted, so we just kind of painted it over. And all the rooms got the ceiling painted too, besides mine, because mine had been painted like a year ago. Mine had wallpaper in it like a year ago, and my grandparents were able to get it down and repaint it, and I didn't pick it out or anything. This was all on them redoing it. That all doesn't sound like that much, but also keep in mind like all the different cleaning and decluttering and everything that everyone was doing at every house. And keep in mind that my mom ended up getting a new job that took up even more time, and I'm very pregnant and my grandparents work, plus I had still been in school up until a month ago and had to figure out other things that I'm not even going to get into in this video. And my grandparents are not the youngest in the best shape. I think the only one that was perfectly well to get things done was Lee, so it was a little rough. We got some of the main stuff done. Now as far as future plans, the hallway, like when you first walk in the front door, and it like also leads upstairs, has this wallpaper that my mom's gonna want down, but it's not gonna be very easy, especially if the wallpaper's anything like her room. And to try to paint it, you almost are gonna need scaffolding to try to like get up to the different areas. and we don't have that, so we'd probably have to hire someone to do it. So although she wants that done as soon as possible, it's just not the most practical at the moment. So the next step for us would be doing the bathroom upstairs that has wallpaper and taking that out and painting it and kind of just like redesigning it a little bit, like decorating and stuff. Maybe adding a little bit better storage, because the storage in this house is kind of awkward as far as like the closets and stuff, so that's all definitely in thought to work on too, but again, not the priority. And then we also need to do a fresh coat of paint on the kitchen and like walking area back over there, because it's kind of gross. The white paint's all faded and a little dirty, so just doing a fresh coat of paint over it. And then the basement we're not even messing with at the moment. It's not even on our radar to do, because there is some wallpaper, but it's a basement. It's a finished basement, but it's a basement. And the bathroom and like utility area and laundry room all are wallpaper down here. So she's thinking about like making it into a full bath, different things. So she's not really wanting to mess with the wallpaper until we figure out what we want to do with it. And then we also want to like add some stuff to the patio, as far as like furniture or things like that, you know, you do with time. But that's the main gist of it all. I mean, we lived in the other house for 4 years before we painted it, so as far as like the basement. And then the only other room we painted was my room and the one spare bedroom, because it had like baby stuff, and it was a spare bedroom, not a baby room. And we didn't do all the other renovating stuff with that house, so yeah, this is gonna take a while, but it's a home, you know, it's all good. I hope you enjoyed seeing and kind of hearing the explanation and the process of the home renovating, remodeling. I've been calling it remodeling, and I realized there's a difference between remodeling and renovating. Didn't know that before. I mean, I figured there was some sort of difference, but I didn't really know the definition. I just kind of knew the idea of it. It's a work in progress, and it's definitely been a journey, and I hope you enjoyed me being a little more vulnerable and sharing some of this stuff with you instead of keeping it all inside and private. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye! What?
I said I am recording though. Where am I supposed to sleep? Oh, there's that belly.